Hey guys, thought I would come in here live today because I'm in the middle of making some applesauce. I bought some apples that were on sale and I bought them a little while ago when we were canning up some apples, and I have a ton left over. So I thought, and they're starting to go, they're getting a little squishy into the refrigerator. So I thought I would go ahead and make up some applesauce. My grandkids love applesauce. Who doesn't like applesauce? And I don't want to throw the scraps away, so I thought I would show you guys a live video today about how to make apple scrap vinegar. So I don't know if you are someone who loves apple cider vinegar. It's called ACV, but apple cider vinegar, the Bragg's apple cider vinegar, which is amazing for your body. So many good things that it does. The one that I always buy is by Bragg's, but it's been sold out to others. We'll just say that. And it doesn't quite have what I'm looking for anymore. So they're using the Appeal coating on their apples, and yes, I could peel them off, which I would do if I were to ever get any, but I'm probably not going to buy any of those. Hey Tess. So obviously I'm peeling these off, but I'm also putting them into my jar because I'm going to save them and make apple scrap vinegar, which is so simple, you guys. So if you're somebody who likes to use apple cider vinegar on a daily basis and you don't want to be using what's from the store and you want to make your own, then this is how we do it. So we're taking the apples and I'm just taking all the skins off. I'm coring them, taking the skins off, and then I'm putting all the skins down inside. I save pickle jars. See, this is a pickle jar. So I am a glass jar rescuer, okay? That's who I am. Some people rescue puppies, some people rescue horses. My friend Haley, she rescues horses. I don't know if you guys know this, but my husband and I have just recently founded the East Tennessee Homestead Alliance, and it is an organization that brings smaller homesteading organizations together to kind of under one umbrella, a way that where we can collaborate and educate on homesteading, on sustainability, natural ways of keeping our bodies, all that kind of stuff. So we founded this Homestead Alliance, and the place that we're going to be hosting our events, which we have one coming up in January. I'm pretty excited about that. So this place that we're hosting these events is a 75-acre horse farm, and they have a beautiful wedding venue. Oh my gosh, you guys, it is gorgeous. You've probably seen me post a picture about it, but anyhow, my friend Haley, she rescues horses and dogs and other animals. I probably would be a chicken rescuer maybe, but anyhow, so she is my horse whisperer friend, and I'm her jar, what do you call it? Rescuer, right? So I'm rescuing all these jars everywhere. I'm literally like the person who is constantly asking people for jars. The other day, Zoe was throwing away these little baby food jars. I'm like, no, those make great little glass jars for like dressings and, stuff that you have just like a teeny bit of leftovers and you need a place to put it. Yeah, so anyhow, I have this big pickle jar right here. And what I'm doing is as you can see, I'm stuffing it down with all of the apple scraps from my apples. And then what I'll do is when I'm done, stuffing it, I'm gonna really put it in there really full. And when I'm done, the simplest thing ever, I'm literally going to just cover with water and then cover with what we call a fermentation weight. I was gonna say fermentation crock. We have those too, and you can do this in a fermentation crock if you want to. So like if you have one of those really cool antique fermentation crocks, let me see. Well, I've actually planted plants in some of mine. Let me just show you a fermentation crock and what it looks like. Some people call them butter crocks too. Let me see if I can pull this down. So this is a fermentation crock. And you see I've put some pretty plants in here. Tess, you would love these. Maybe you can tell me what they are, Tess, because I know you do all the plants. But this one's up on my window shelf. I love looking at it when I'm in the kitchen. But you don't have to have just a glass jar, right? So you can use a fermentation crock. You can, some people use plastic, you know, leftover plastic containers. I am a bigger fan of glass. I'm just not a big fan of the plastic leaching into anything that, you know, are food products. So when if you have an abundance of apples and you're gonna make something, don't throw your scraps away. If you're not gonna give them to your chickens, which some of these I probably will give to my chickens because I have made, you guys may have seen the picture, I've already made apple scrap vinegar, and I probably have like 6 or 7 quarts, and then probably another 2 or 3 of these big pickle jars full. So I think we're gonna be, you know, pretty good for a while, especially after I make this one. So once I get this one full, I think I will most likely just take the rest of my scraps and toss them out to the girls. They will love them. But if you are gonna do this, all you're gonna do is, oops, oh no, I just threw my apple into there. You're going to literally take your apples, you're gonna cut them into quarters, cut that core out, put it in your jar, and usually what I do is I just kind of like keep peeling until I get a bunch of it. I'll take my actual apple and I'm gonna put it down into my, so I've got a bunch of apples going in here that I'm gonna make some applesauce out of. And, which is a great thing to do if your apples are starting to get kind of soft and they're not as good for, you know, snacking on or eating. And then I'm gonna take, you can see all of these scraps, and I'm just gonna push them down into my jar, and which is getting almost full. Once I get them down, I don't really want the scraps to go much past the neck. So this is the neck of the jar. So I'm gonna keep squishing and getting as much as I can, because when these begin to break down, they're gonna get smaller, right? So look how much room I just gave myself. Once I finish getting all of the apples peeled and everything inside, then I'm just gonna simply fill with water. I'm gonna fill it with water so that it goes up just above the apple line. You wanna make sure everything stays submerged. That's really, really key. Any of you guys on here, hey Tony. Oh, Tess, that's a nerve plant. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I don't know which one you think is a nerve plant, but that's kind of cool. Wonder what that means. If you, what was I saying? I forgot. I got all distracted with the nerve plant. Oh, if you've ever made apple scrap vinegar and you find that it's moldy on top, there could be a number of reasons why. Sometimes it can be because either number one, it was too warm wherever you had your vinegar kind of fermenting. Number two, it's possible that you had some of your scraps above the water line. You don't want them to be above the water line because then they're getting oxidized and they're getting into the air, and the air is going to mold them. So it's really important that they stay underneath the water line. The way to do that, if you don't have a fermentation weight, I don't even have it up here. I'm gonna actually have to go down to my canning kitchen to get it, but it's just a little clear, flat weight with like kind of the little knob on the top, so you can kind of pick it up and put it down. And what it does is it keeps everything under the water. But the cool thing is you don't have to have that. I have it because I teach canning classes, and I wanted to show people, you know, I teach fermentation, so I wanted to show people what they could buy. But you literally can, this is a really great hack. You can get a baggie, okay? Make it a Ziploc, like the kind that has the zip lock on it, and fill it with, you can either fill it with just water. Yes, Tiffany, we're gonna add water to this. You can fill that little bag with water, or you can fill it with, some people fill it with like pebbles or rocks or whatever to make it heavy. Tie it, or zip it closed. Make sure there's no air in it because that might make it float. And then you put it on top of this so that the water is kind of coming up around it and not going down into, or not letting your apples come above that water line. So let me see if I can get a bunch down in here. Thanks, Tiffany. Yes, I love my candy classes. You were at the last one. That's awesome. Looks like I can actually get quite a few more in here. Oh, maybe 2 or 3 apples. So at the end of this, you guys, all you're going to do is add water into your jar, making sure that you have something on top of it to keep it weighted underneath. And then you're going to add either a coffee filter over top, because you want it to breathe, okay? So when things are fermenting, you want them to be able to breathe. Like if you were making like a honey garlic ferment, which we've made, a lot of that, you actually put a lid on it, but you have to burp it, right? This you don't have to burp because you're gonna put that coffee filter or a cheesecloth over top of this, and that will keep it from you needing to burp it, and you can just kind of leave it alone. But I do like to keep it in a dark, cooler place while it is fermenting, so that I don't have to, I don't end up with slimy, gross stuff on top. Okay, now look, I have a rotten apple in here, so I'm not going to use this. I'm not even going to use the other half of it. I'm just going to toss this to my chickens, which goes in my chicken bucket here. So I'll give that to the chickens in a little bit. They will think that is the bomb. They love all that. So I'm going to stick the rest of this in here. And this might be it. This might be all I get. Let's see. No, looks like I can actually get another apple. Wow. So I'm going to tell you how many I've actually gotten in here. I've been able to get 2, or I guess it's about a bag and a half of 3-pound apples. So what would that be? Maybe 4.5 pounds of apples, 5 pounds of apples, something like that. And my pot over here is getting nice and full for applesauce. Now, another thing you can do if you don't want to do applesauce is you can just moisten these down and bake them down and make almost like an apple pie filling. So if you're somebody who, it's Thanksgiving's coming up, and if you wanted to have an apple pie filling, these probably aren't the best apples for that. They are the Gala apples, and I don't feel like they're not tart at all, and they're not real sweet, but they do make great applesauce and great apple scrap vinegar, okay? So we're gonna see if we can fill it up with this very last apple. If you are someone who takes apple cider vinegar on a daily basis, will you drop me the word or the acronym ACV down in the comments below? And if you're also here live, give me the hashtag live. If you're here on the replay, give me hashtag replay. And if you like these videos, I'll be happy to do more of them. I love, love, love to teach. And guess what? This is my last apple, and I'm going to be able to get this into the jar. So if you're an apple cider vinegar person, you're going to love this because you will have this in your space, and you won't have to go buy any ACV anywhere. So some people will actually take, yes, Tess, I knew you took apple cider vinegar. Some people will actually take and add a little bit of their current apple cider vinegar to the jar. It just kind of like helps that fermentation process go. Some people will add about a tablespoon of sugar to the jar. Let's see, when I did my last ones, gosh, I can't remember now if I added the sugar or not. The sugar just kind of helps it break down a little bit. It's not an absolute necessary ingredient, but it does help it to break down some. All right, so that is the last of my apples, and I'm gonna squeeze all this down as much as I can. Nice. All right, as you can see, that jar is full, okay? Don't throw away your pickle jars because this is what you get out of it. All right, so for those of you that are just chiming in, we are making apple scrap vinegar, ACV. And what I'm doing is I'm cutting up all my apples, because I'm going to make some applesauce, and then I don't want to throw my apple scraps away. I want to keep them because I want to make apple scrap vinegar. And if you guys give me 2 seconds, I will show you one in my fridge that's completed. Okay, hang on, hang on. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere because I'll be right back. All right, this is one that is already completed. And it's already had all of its fermentation time. It was sitting out for 6 to 8 weeks. And then I strained all of this out. And then I kept all of the liquid. And this goes in my fridge. So with this, I would open it up. And I would simply take out a tablespoon and drink it. It literally tastes like apple cider vinegar. You guys, this is so simple. So simple. Don't throw your apple scraps away. Make apple cider vinegar, okay? All right, so that's in my fridge. And this is a brand new one and that I just put in there because I'm getting ready to take it. And so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go and show you how we're gonna finish this off and then finish showing you how to complete it. Okay, so come with me. You guys are gonna come with me over here to the kitchen sink. And can you see? All right. So we have filtered water, which is what I'm gonna use here. And I'm simply going to, if I can get it going, fill this with water. So you guys see that? Filling that down with water. We're gonna make sure that the water is covering all the way to the top. And there it is. As you can see, the water is covering all the way to the top, okay? All right, now, thanks for staying with me, you guys. You're awesome. I didn't think it would take me this long to show you all this. All right, so now you can see some of the pieces are gonna want to float up, and we don't want them touching up into the air. Now, I don't have my little fermentation crocks up here, so you guys pretend, okay? You can put that fermentation crock inside here and that's gonna keep everything submerged, or you can take a plastic Ziploc bag, the kind that has the zipper on it. You can actually just fill this with water. Let me show you how it works, okay? So let's go over here. We're literally just gonna fill this with water. And you can fill it with pebbles, you can fill it with rocks, you can fill it with whatever you want. And then we want to get all the air out of it. And this is going to become your weight because this water is heavy, you guys. All right, so that's going to become your weight. All right, let's get back over here and watch what I do. I'm going to put this inside. Now, there's too much. So I'm actually too full for this. So what do I need to do? I'm just gonna pour a little bit of this out. I'm actually just gonna pour it right into where my applesauce is going, so I don't burn my sauce. And let's see if this will work. Yeah, perfect, okay. So I'm going to take and close that up. Oh, it's still a lot. I probably filled it a little too full. That's the way it works. If I had my crock right here, I think I would have been probably okay and better. So I'm gonna, because it's live, typically I might just have to take a little bit of this out, right? So I want you to keep this video a little short. I might take a little bit of this out and then make sure that it's just not spilling over, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a coffee filter, watch. I buy coffee filters that have no chemicals in them, okay? You can get these kind of coffee filters because you don't want to be putting chemicals in your stuff. And I'm just going to lay it over top, and then I would put a rubber band around this, and then I'm going to stick this kind of underneath my cabinets somewhere, or I might go stick it in my pantry, and I'm just going to leave it. I will put the date on the outside. You can write with a permanent marker. It will wash off when you're done, but I'll put the date on the outside. I'll stick it in the pantry, and I'll just check on it every so often. Make sure that everything is still staying under the water. Make sure there's no slimy stuff growing on it, right? And then in 6 weeks or so, I'm gonna peel it off and I'm going to just smell it, okay? If it smells nice and vinegary, you know it's probably ready for you to strain out. Now, you can see with all of this product in here that when you strain this out, you're not gonna end up with this much apple cider vinegar. You're gonna end up with probably about half, okay? So if you're somebody who's like, I really wanna make sure we have enough of this on hand, think of every single jar you make that you're gonna get about half a jar of the apple cider vinegar, okay? Now, I've had people ask me, well, what is apple cider vinegar even good for? Like, why would you even make it? Y'all, you need to be taking apple cider vinegar. Okay, it is fantastic for lowering blood sugar. If you have any insulin problems, if you're diabetic, type 1, type 2, it helps to regulate those blood sugar levels. It's great for an anti-inflammatory. It's great for weight management. It's great for appetite control. It is fantastic for burns, for if you have any mouth sores or like canker sores or anything, it might burn a little, but it's so healing, you guys. It's so healing, and it's so simple to make. So simple to make. All right. Have any of you on here ever made apple cider vinegar from apple scraps like this? If you have, drop that down to me below. If you haven't, let me know below, and I will actually put together a recipe for you guys, and I'll put it down in the comments below of how I made it so that you can just copy and paste that into something and you guys can make your own. I hope you're doing this. With all the fall apples that are out right now, and there are so many, this is a fantastic way to get set up, to be sustainable, to not have to go out there and buy apple cider vinegar from the store, okay? You can make this. This is so much fun, and it's fun to do with your kids. If you have kids, if you're, you use the knife, you're getting all the apple scraps off, and you're telling them to get dirty and get their hands into the apple scraps and squishing them down into, and you can make it a competition. Who can get the most apple scraps in their glass jar? I do this with my grandkids. They love it. All right, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate you being here on the live. I hope you got some value from that and you learned something. And if you want the recipe, drop the word recipe below. If you love these kind of videos, give me tons of thumbs up and give me some ideas of what other sustainable things that you would love to learn about and what you would love to be able to incorporate into your home, okay? All right, you guys, have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you later.